Today we're going to be doing intermediate. I'm going to show you traditional grip and I'm going to show you. This is Clayton Skinner. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Beat. Hey there. In this episode of Beyond the Beat, I'm going to teach you how to tune your snare drum. I'm Clayton Skinner, by the way. So the first thing that we're going to cover is how a snare drum actually works. When you strike the batter head of the snare drum, it sends vibrations down the shell, which then vibrates the resonating head. Now what's strapped across the resonating head would be the actual snare itself. So depending on whatever pitch you have the batter head, the resonating head, and how tight you have your snare will determine what your snare sounds like. So like I stated in the last tuning video, you can either tune both of your heads the same pitch, or you could tune it where the bottom head is actually higher than the top. The thing is though, is either way, you have to have your bottom head at a specific pitch. So you're either doing them at both high, or the top head low and just the bottom head high. So if you're using the fifth apart method like I mentioned before, you want to make sure that whatever note that you draw for the bottom head of the snare, that you'll do that an octave higher. So it's the same note, it's just higher. So a problem that plagues a lot of drummers out there is a buzz that they get whenever they hit another drum on their kit. This is caused by what's called a sympathetic resonance. A sympathetic resonance is when the pitch that whatever your bottom head is tuned to is set off by that exact same pitch. So for instance, when a vocalist will shatter a crystal glass, or that video where the bridge is wobbling all over the place because of an earthquake, those are caused by sympathetic resonances. One way to combat this is to actually tune your drums a fifth apart, just like I said before. By doing this, none of the other drums in your kit will actually match that pitch, so they shouldn't set it off. But the thing is though, is one of the members in your band, probably the bass player, will play that one special note that'll just set it right off. There's really no way that you can get away from that. If you don't want to use the fifth apart rule, there's another little trick that you can do. If you turn your snare over, you'll see that the snare wire will run between two sets of lugs or tension screws. If you loosen those four lugs and then tighten the other ones remaining to compensate, it'll change the tension in the head just enough that that specific pitch won't affect it. Now this technique is actually easier if you have a 10 lug drum, but it still works with an 8, it just isn't as effective. So the next thing we got to do is we got to adjust the snare strainer. Now like I said before, whatever tension that you have this will depict a lot of how the drum sounds. So all of this is a matter of preference. You can actually put your strainer as tight as you want or as loose as you want. But I'm going to give you a tip of what I like to do. What you want to do is you want to loosen the strainer all the way until it literally makes no sound, but still make sure that it's closed. You want to then tighten it and tap it as you're tightening until there's absolutely no buzz left. At that point, that's generally the best sound that you can get. So there's really no right or wrong way to tune a snare drum, so long as you're happy with how it sounds. Now, if you can't fully get rid of the buzz, even after doing these tips, you don't necessarily have to worry about it too much. When you're playing with a live band, you can't really hear it anyway. But when you're practicing, it's something that can really stand out. So that's all for this episode. I hope this video made your snare as crisp and tasty as an Easter ham. So until next time, keep banging that drum.